Welcome to Fun Health with your host, Dr. Tanya Gold, your happiness doctor. Dr. Gold is a medical doctor who specializes in natural medicine and has been in practice for over 23 years. She's also a registered yoga teacher, public speaker, and published author. Dr. Gold has transformed thousands of lives through her ability to make wellness fun using her behavioral associative conditioning method and new 20-second workouts. If it's fun, it'll get done. Dr. Gold believes you're not a diagnosis. Your health matters. Know you're not alone. Dr. Gold cares. Remember, you're a bright, shining light in this world. Keep shining.
Hey friends, it's Dr. Gold with Fun Health. I am so excited to introduce you to Gigi Sabbat. She's a motivational keynote speaker, CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. And she's going to share her background, what she does. And we're going to be talking about like simple hacks to wellness and health from an entrepreneur's perspective. So why don't you start? Take it away, Gigi.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Dr. Tanya Gold. It's such an honor to be here today. Now, a little bit about me. My name is Regeline Sabbat, but I prefer Gigi for short. I'm a motivational keynote speaker and the CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. And again, it's such an honor to be here today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So why don't you share a personal story that inspired your journey towards a healthier lifestyle?
Absolutely. So when we talk about health and wellness, or just health in general, it's so important to keep in mind and be aware of your habits. What are you doing on a daily basis as far as your fitness goes? What does your fitness goal truly look like? Mm-hmm. And I am just honored and grateful for the personal trainers that I've had on my journey. Just grateful for each and every one of them. I mean, as where I am now with my fitness journey, it's because of them. And I actually wrote a blog on fitness. It's actually on my website, Life Service Center of America. And I share that as well, that again, whatever fitness goal you may have, that you can achieve it. And I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Why don't you share also what you're up to? I know that we've done a race already, and I know your goals have been set in a good way, getting higher and bigger and stronger. So why don't you share what you've been doing that way, and also about the injury, how you've been overcoming?
Such a great question. And yes, I love how you talk about the now, but also the then, because it's very important. And not just that, but coming off the injury, I mean, it's not easy at all. And I mean, I just iced up my knee today as well as we're speaking. I mean, almost 2 to 3 years out now as far as training goes. And I mean, we're still working on it. It's still a work in progress, but looking at it as a positive and continuing to move forward and not letting it keep me from running per se. But if you were to tell me that I'd be running a marathon, then I would tell you, really. And so I'll never forget. I had just been in the gym, and I was working on another fitness goal at the time. And I remember it was that week where you're like, yes, I'm about to hit this goal. I'll never forget it. Boom, just bam, just like that. And I remember, and I said, oh my goodness, what just happened there? Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful for my doctor, who was like, stay out of the gym. And I said, okay, listened in, and I stayed out of the gym. And when I got the okay to return, I did. But like I said, if you were to tell me I'd be running a marathon, I would tell you, really. And so it's just a blessing, and it's by God's grace that I'm even able to do so. Right. And of course, the knee injury, it happens from time to time. And when I say knee injury, what I mean is the knee pain is what I'm referring to. It's not as, how can I put it, severe as it was in the beginning of training. I mean, some days I couldn't even move. I had to have it up on the couch. So yes, so there's a lot of progress I'm seeing, and it's about progression, not perfection. And yes, and I'm grateful to have run a 5K and a 10K, and I've been honored to run those with you and your husband as well, who's joined in with us. And it's just been such an honor and a blessing. And I'm really looking forward to running the half marathon, my first one in May.
Awesome. You really are an inspiration. And the nice part is never give up. I see you always doing what you can do. And if you have to cross train, you do that. So it's so wonderful to hear those wonderful things that you're offering the words of inspiration to others. that, if they're on their journey, and almost recognizing that getting injured is almost, it's not abnormal. So many people, if they're exercising, something's going to happen in life. We're just human. It's our human factor, but we don't have to let that stop us. We can still figure out what we can do. And then again, if the doctor says, not to do certain things, you of course listen, but then you can adjust and then get back in the game. You don't have to give up. So I love that.
Absolutely. Thank you. And it's a blessing to see. And God is truly amazing. It, like I said, it's by the grace of God that this is possible, because I mean, coming off of not just the knee injury, but also some of the other challenges that I faced as well. I mean, and talking about the neck injury as well, as far as domestic violence goes. I mean, if you were to tell me I'd be playing basketball, continue playing basketball, or even being able to shoot the way I am now, I mean, I would tell you, wow, I'm just blown away. And some days, even when I'm running or I'm playing basketball, I'm just like, wow, God, like, wow, like, this is awesome. Like things that I didn't even know was possible. I'm seeing it. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I with my journey with my health, I totally agree. I prayed a lot when I got sick with my autoimmune disease, and even my vision when it was threatened. And I thank God it's a miracle in my mind, just that I'm able to still see without glasses, without, regular medicines now. Even my doctors are like, oh my God, how is that happening? And I can actually run and exercise. I didn't get the surgery that they, initially said. It wasn't life-threatening, but at the time they said I would need it. And it's been 17 years. So yes, God is good, like you said.
Amen.
All right. So we're going to go into just specific health hacks. So what are your top 3 simple health hacks that anyone can incorporate into their daily routine?
First and foremost, be aware of your goal. It must be clear. What does it look like? 2, action. Action is truly required.
Yeah.
And 3, show up for yourself, because you can have those 2, but if you don't show up, you have nothing, and you don't take action, you have nothing. So we can set the goal, we can talk about it all day, but if you're not showing up, there's nothing.
Yeah, profound. I love it. And honestly, if anybody is just getting started, or you've been exercising, got off track, and now you're trying to get back into it again, you're absolutely right with that action step. And I have 20-second workouts on my YouTube videos, so there's no limitations on what you can do. I know you might say 20 seconds, but the idea is start somewhere. Something's always better than nothing, and your body thanks you. Even the studies have shown you can work up to those 20 seconds or every 20 minutes. So even in a regular work day, you can get in those 10 minutes just by doing it. So thank you for those profound words, because it can make a difference by reducing your risk for dementia and Alzheimer's, and just the benefits that we were talking earlier, just feeling more energy and sleeping better, feeling good. It's so critical.
That's very true. Now, I'm not a fitness expert, but I will tell you this based off my experience and just working on fitness, right? As a mentee, one thing I will tell you is that it's very important, not just what you do outside or in the gym or in your indoor gym, whatever you'd like to call it, but it is important as well to be mindful of what you're consuming. What are you putting into your body? What are your breakfast, lunch, dinner, your snacks, and being aware, nutrition, right, is what we call it. And also too, what are you having as a beverage? What are you drinking? What does it look like?
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I honestly have been talking to a lot of patients. I actually gave a talk to a Live Strong group at the Y yesterday about this, and it can be confusing. There's textbooks on nutrition. And one of my big questions to the group when we first started, because I said, do you want to keep it simple about nutrition? And they're all like, yeah. So I said, as a baby, when did you actually eat? When did you eat as a baby? Right? When you're hungry, right? When you're hungry. And then when did you stop eating? When you're full. So we didn't have textbooks when we were babies. We couldn't read back then. So the idea is it's innate wisdom that our body already knows. So if we can define food, and this is from the Oxford Dictionary, as nutritious substance that someone actually consumes for growth, for balance, for vitality, by definition, if you look at junk food, which is considered empty calories or very low in the nutritional scale, it's, is it actually food? So if you're actually picking food from the vine, from what our creator intended us to eat, if you choose those types of things, it's a lot easier. So on a simple scale, and I'm going to simplify because my whole thing is about keeping it easy and, doable, is one vegetable. Can you have a lot more? Do the guidelines suggest more? Of course. But can we at least get one vegetable? Because on our plate, every day for each meal. But the idea is sometimes the foods that we get are fried or, just laden with lots of sugar. And I know it tastes good. So, that's why a lot of people have it and it's available. But if we can start adding some vegetables, and what I've done even at a bar is like, do you have any vegetables? And they were like, oh yeah, we have garnish that we tend to throw away or people just put on the side. I'm like, give me all your garnishes. So there are ways, or even if you're going to an event, trying to eat ahead of time. So, but I know it can be definitely challenging. So thank you for sharing about the importance of not just what you do, but actually how, we consume stuff. And I think that mindset makes a huge difference too, that you're able to, if you're going to a place and you're like, I don't want to, eat, all this junk food, but what do I do? Just eat ahead of time and just say, I just came to see you. I'm good. I don't want anything,
Right.
just a statement that I'm already fine with it. But I share that because some people are like, I didn't know I could say that, but you don't have to eat if you don't want to. You get to choose what you eat. So that ability, and then the body does know. It's really good. Well, thank you for that part. And then the mindset and motivation. So how do you stay motivated? And especially as a busy entrepreneur, I know you have a lot of balls in the air where you're working your Life Service Center of America, that business, and also your books, and all the beautiful podcasts that you put on, and in addition to the Zoom calls. I definitely want you to share on that. But how do you stay motivated to maintain a healthy lifestyle?
Such a great question. And so it's one word, as simple as that: faith, my faith. Mm-hmm. And I'm just grateful for my faith. And like I said, it's by the grace of God that all these things are possible, right? And when we talk about fitness and all these things, letting go and letting Him, trusting Him, and not worrying about tomorrow, right? For tomorrow will worry about itself, right? And if you worry about tomorrow too much, that's where the anxiety comes from. Oh, well, what will happen tomorrow? What if I don't show up tomorrow for the rudder or whatnot? See, focusing in on the today, the now. How are you showing up? And continuously, it's a work in progress. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. That's as far as fitness goes. But I also want to circle back to what you said, because I think that it's all combined, right? When we talk about the mindset, when we talk about the mind, body, soul, and spirit, right? Mm-hmm. It's also important to also talk about what's going on internally, because oftentimes a lot of individuals that I speak to and that I have spoken with, oftentimes if there is some underlying trauma, that can also keep you or hinder you from achieving your fitness goals. So we need to do a deep dive into what's really going on inside, and has there been something that maybe has occurred in your life that's really keeping you from moving forward with your fitness goal? We're talking about fitness here, so I'm going to stick to fitness. And so what I've also found is maybe it's a childhood trauma, right? And I have common ground with those folks because I was sexually assaulted as a child. So when I do, when we talk about that, it's so important to understand that you're not alone. If you have experienced a childhood trauma, you're not alone. And I want to tell you, if you're listening to this message today, that if you have a fitness goal, you can achieve it. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And I love the progress, not perfection, because I think sometimes, especially as an overachiever, sometimes when I was younger, I was always like, I got to win. My dad said winning is not everything. It's the only thing. It was on my mirror. I remember he pasted it on. And I really felt like I always had to win, but you can't control the other people in the game, right? So, but as long as I'm doing my best now, and I think now when I spoke to him as an adult, he actually said, Tanya, I just always wanted you to do your best. I'm proud of you. I love you. And that resonated so clear. When I was a kid, I put so much pressure on myself. And I think, wherever we are in the game, sometimes we feel like we have to go all in instead of just saying, yeah, what's going on? If God forbid you were traumatized, making sure you get help, seeking a professional guidance. Thank you for sharing that, because that really does make a difference in everything you do. what you consume, how you live. You might be just in survival mode rather than thriving in
You're
life.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, and you're welcome. And in regards to any of the stories that I've shared, those folks are also public speakers. They've shared it themselves as well as on our stage as well. And so when we talk about sexual assault per se, or any challenge that you face, mind you, I was sexually assaulted as a child, but again, as an adult, to remember that again, you're not alone, and that you can overcome. And so when we talk about overcoming heart blocks, inspiring stories for healing from trauma, and you, Dr. Tanya Gold, you say here the messages in this book magnifies the importance of getting help and finding your path to healing. It's so important to really face it, face what may have happened to you, right? And how do I know that? Because I've been there. You have to face it and take your time. No one's rushing you here. Take your time. But doing the work is truly matters, right? And like I said, I believe in you. So whatever fitness goal you may have, we're talking about fitness here, and as it relates to trauma. So when we talk about your goal, take action. I believe in you.
Yeah. And the studies have shown, honestly, it's one of the best relievers for stress. It helps if you do it properly. We're not talking about overtraining, but training properly, training in a fun manner where you're enjoying yourself. And if you're like, I'm not going to run a marathon, that's okay. Could you run a block, or could you walk a block? Maybe you're into a Zumba class or Pilates or yoga, whatever it is, but having fun with whatever you're doing, and just really recognizing that those endorphins go up when you are having fun, even laughter yoga. I did my book on the 7 habits of extremely happy people. I'll just share it too. I'll do one plug-in. I'll see if it comes in. Yay.
We can do it.
It might be coming for a second. We can put these in the chat too if they come in and out. But the idea, honestly, is finding your flow, finding what works for you. And I love, Gigi, that you're using running as an outlet. It is cheap therapy. It's a wonderful way. You don't really need a lot of equipment. And even with basketball, you need a ball, but it's just play, right? You get to bounce that ball, and whether you get it in the hoop or not, you're still playing, which I think is so important with any activity you're doing. And to make it, fun for you, doing stuff that you enjoy. I was just thinking, I used to jump rope, and I haven't done that in a while. I was like, oh, I want to start jumping rope again. Why not?
Believe it or not, that's what the doctor believes may have caused my knee injury is the jump rope. So I actually don't jump rope any longer.
Oh, no, don't do that. And one thing on that, because I've actually spoken to a lot of runners, especially runners who were running into their 90s, on little hacks that they were able to run for so long without, not being able to, because I've met so many people who are like, oh, I can't run anymore, but it's the hard surfaces. So if you can actually cross train, it's really helpful, even getting in a swimming pool. But soft dirt, I tend to run on soft dirt when possible, whether that's around a track that has like that kind of bouncy ground, or if you can run on like in a outside in nature trails or something, anything that's safe for you. And then if you have a choice between sidewalk and the street, as long as, again, there's not a lot of traffic, I'll sometimes run right along the side on the asphalt. It tends to be a little bit less hard on the knees. But again, you have to find what works for you, and safety always comes first. But if I can do soft dirt, I've always preferred that, or golf courses without the people playing golf, because that can be really dangerous, and getting approval, because I have gotten kicked off of golf courses before. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't even know I needed permission. But anyway, doing what you need to do to stay well, healthy, longevity first. And activity helps, but we need to do it safely for our bodies. So I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
And I also believe that it's important not to be so hard on yourself as you're working towards your fitness goal. I mean, I can't tell you enough. It's if you're focusing on the numbers and all these things. Here's a story for you, right? Because I was not focused on that. I mean, when I first started out, I like I said, coming off the knee injury here, and when we talk about where I started, over 1 hour for 1 mile. But I'm grateful for my trainer believing in me that I could do it. Right, that I could run maybe less than an hour, right, 1 mile, and that I could run as well. And so when we talk about your goal, I believe in you, and don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't say, well, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I'm just doing. And I've heard this often. I'm just doing 4. I can't do 5. I can't do 6 miles. I'm just doing maybe 1. You are enough. And you are taking action. I'm so proud of you. And if you are running, if you're just starting to run out, if you've been running your entire life, continue to do so. That's great. But also remember that you matter and that you can accomplish your goal. I believe in you.
Yeah. And I love also for those that are wondering like how to fit it in, if they're busy mom, busy dad, busy business person or entrepreneur, or just working a full, long hour job. They're getting home and they're exhausted. How would you suggest they get in the activity?
Absolutely. So I don't have any children, but I can speak from maybe if my niece is here or my godkids are here and I'm taking care of them. And how do I balance that when I'm going on my runs or I have my runs? And so I make sure that first and foremost they're taken care of, or if there's someone here, a nanny to be with them if I'm not here. If not, then I will have to move something around on my schedule, and then but I won't miss the actual workout because maybe I'll move my rest day around, but I'll have my run. I'll still have the run. It depends on what your routine looks like and what you're training for here, what that looks like. If you have to cancel, you may have to cancel it.
Got it. I understand. I'm going to actually have a little break here where we do a shake break, because I know, honestly, if we're talking about fun hacks to movement, we should actually get moving a little bit too. Especially, I know I've been a little sedentary. So if anybody's sitting down, if you're able to, please stand up and just kind of shake out the body a little bit. Yeah. Shake, shake, shake. This is one of the simplest movements, and it's so wonderful for the immune system. It's great for endorphins. And I also call it wiggling. Let's get the wiggles out, right? Just kind of wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle out the shoulders, wiggle out the cheeks. There we go. And just kind of roll the shoulders back here. Take a nice deep breath in. And a nice let it all out. Woo! If you had a long day, let it out. Let's take another.
Let it go, let it go, let it all wash away.
Let it go, let it go. And I find also if I just add fun to it, it really does get done. So I've been incorporating some activities in my daily activities. So if I'm doing the dishes, I start putting the music on and just kind of dancing. I do that with the laundry now, with cleaning my house. So it's like no extra time. If I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing tree pose, which is like a balance pose where you bring your foot to your inner thigh, or I'll just stretch my body or smile. So I think sometimes it's nice also, like you were saying, you can do this and you can weave in through your day. It doesn't have to be extra time. And those workouts I was saying earlier, those 20-second workouts every 20 minutes, it's just something you can do during work. You can literally just take 20 seconds. If you're on the computer, just standing up and shake the body, or just laugh. But just kind of releasing the tension can make a difference. But thank you for this. So we're going to start to wrap up. The goal of all these podcasts too is, we know you're busy too at times, but we know busyness is a mindset. But these are short and sweet little hacks that you can incorporate. So just as, somebody, again, just getting started, practical advice that you would suggest to these beautiful souls, these beautiful people watching or listening, to get to that next level of their health, especially if they're kind of like, I'm just feeling so overwhelmed or so swamped with so much stuff on my plate. What's some practical advice you can give them?
Great question. So I want you to take your plate and remember that, again, that you're not alone, first and foremost. Joshua 1:9 states, "Haven't I commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord your God is with you wherever you go." But not just that, also remember that action is required. So if you do have a fitness goal, again, merely sitting back and just saying, okay, I want to do this. I hope this happens. Maybe one day it will happen, or maybe tomorrow. I want to encourage you to shift your mindset, but not just that, replace all of that negative self-talk with positive talk, positive self-talk. And I want you to begin to speak positively to yourself. And I want you to tell yourself, I can do this. I believe in myself, and I know whose I am. And also I'm letting go, and I'm letting him give it to him. If this is a battle for you, if you may have fitness challenges, or you continuously to face them daily, I want to encourage you to give it to him. Give it to him. And remember again that he's in control, and just let go and let him.
Thank you. Very powerful. I was like feeling it. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I honestly do believe sometimes we just need to release and let go and try not to even control everything, because we are really not in control of outside factors. So I love how you said that. But taking charge of our thoughts, huge difference, can be a huge shift. And just kind of recoding your whole kind of system, your nervous system, through the laughter, through the joy, it gives you energy. So if the cup is filled, we know we have to unload that cup, right? Through the breath, through sleep, through some rest if we need that. It's so, so important to take care of our overall health. So I love first, that you were talking about the activities, and then you went to nutrition, and now the mindset, and then also just kind of a release.
But Tanya, rest is also important. And I don't want to leave your guests thinking that you have to go all the time. Rest is also important. Right. So on your rest days, make sure you rest, and you rest well.
Thank
you.
And
I've been there struggling with the rest days as far as my runs go, but I've learned that you need to rest. I've learned the importance of resting.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm a big proponent, and it depends on the person. But if you've been saying, I need to do this, or I should do this, and you really haven't, it's okay to be honest with yourself. And if you need a coach, a mentor, someone who can kind of, in a good way, support you. I don't want to just say push, because we don't want you to get injured. We want somebody to uplift you and guide you. But someone can help as a personal trainer or fitness coach, or working with a group can be very, very inspiring. And I know for me, some people just, again, don't like to work out. It's work, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to work out. But maybe to play full on or have fun and change the language, but also get the accountability. And I'm here, of course, you're here. I know that you take on new clients. Am I correct with that? For inspiration and guidance, maybe you could share some of the stuff that you can help them with if they're interested.
Absolutely. So essentially, our programs are designed to assist folks with achieving their goals. And so essentially, in that initial strategy session, that's when we determine if we can even assist you. If we can, then we'll recommend the program that's best for you, that will assist you with achieving those goals. If we can't assist you, then we'll refer you to someone who can. And also, when we talk about our programs, we ask that you trust the process, but not just that you also take action. And we're all about meeting people where they are, and about business. We're all about relationships over transactions. And when we're speaking on your business, right? So it's so important, again, to remember that you're not alone. And I highly suggest, if you're working on achieving a goal, that you obtain a mentor as well, or a coach. If you're working on a particular aspect or something that you need assistance with, definitely reach out. I'd be more than happy to assist you, and to see if I can even do so. So again, that's what the initial strategy session is for.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. And she's really helped me. I just want to say, on a personal note, I've been working to just get my business to the next level, and she's been godsend with that, and just a lot of help with even putting this podcast together. So thank you for all this. I just feel like we all have a message, a story within us, and we need the energy. The activities was just a key step to give you the energy to do the things that you love to do, whether that's, rearing the children, or working, or a hobby, or traveling, or whatever you want. Most of my patients don't say, Dr. Gold, I want to get older and, be on a bunch of pills and go to doctor's appointments, in my golden years. But we're finding a lot of individuals, as they're aging, ending up that way if they're not exercising or eating well. So we know it's a conduit. No one usually wants to end up in a nursing home. And I 100%, I don't either, or have dementia, or these chronic diseases. So we know there are evidence-based ways, natural ways to prevent these things or reduce the likelihood of them happening. You can become more resilient. So activity is one of the number one ways. And I know you've just harped on that it's progress, not perfection. And I love that you gave people a way that they can start doing this, step-by-step approach. And it's not all or nothing, but something is always better than nothing. So I really appreciate your Your powerful words.
If you're sitting down right now and you haven't stood up in quite a bit, maybe you sat back for a little while. I'm not sure what may have happened, but something's keeping you from getting up. I want to remind you that you're not alone and that you can do this. I believe in you.
Yeah, let's actually just stand up if you're able to. Again, if you're listening to this while you're driving, you can do this after, but you can still do this in your car if you're safely not moving or anything, but you can just gently take a nice deep breath in, big smile here, bring in all that good energy. And I want you to visualize. We know a lot of times you don't have to see it to believe it. You have to believe it to see it, right? We got to change that. We have to visualize. If you ask all the Olympic athletes, did you actually visualize before they won their gold medal? Did you visualize seeing it hundreds of times, thousands of times? Yes, yes. So seeing your goal already being achieved, instead of saying goal setting, we're goal getters. We're actually goal getting right now, but achieving in a good way so we can live our ultimate life. So let's bring in the love for Gigi. Let's bring in the love for you, because you are amazing spirit, amazing light in this world. Keep shining. And I feel so blessed for you watching or listening or both. And if you can share this with others, we so appreciate. And we're on social media, so if you can tag us and just let us know how you heard about this podcast, we love that. And we just want to learn more. Anything that you need to understand or questions you have, of course, we can bring a shout out, or I can send those messages to Gigi as well. And any messages for me, I'm happy to do my best to answer. And again, Dr. Gold with Fun Health. We're so excited, so happy for you to join us. And thank you again, Gigi. You're such a beautiful light in this world. I just uplifting me so much with your beautiful presence and your beautiful spirit.
Thank you, Dr. Gold, for having me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Take care now. Toodles. And remember, your health matters. Mwah.
Thank you so much for listening to the Fun Health Podcast with your host, Dr. Tanya Gold, your happiness doctor. Stay tuned for more uplifting and inspiring episodes to live your best life. Make it fun so it'll get done. You're so much more than a diagnosis. Remember, you're not alone, and your life and your health matters.